basket at full time. Yeah, it's the kitman. They have a lot to work on in a week, from laundry, fixing damaged kit, repairing holes, cleaning boots. Then they pack the van and take everything they need off to the stadium, ready for game day. They don't get a lot of help when they get in the ground too. Kitmen are the ones unloading a full squad's worth of boots, kit, medical bags, and all the bits the players and coaches will need between the start of the day and switching off the floodlights at the end of the day. First thing they do is organise each player's kit, make it easily accessible in order to avoid any dramas on match day. Once everything's in the right place, it's into the dressing room, lay everything out, put players' nameplates on the right locker, all the things you don't even think about on a match day. Once the players arrive, if anything needs doing, they call the kitman. In the meantime, it's on the kitman to help set up for the warm-up. The coaches don't always have time to lay out all the cones and put the balls in those weird triangle piles you see. As the warm-up is underway, the kitman then becomes a glorified ball boy, chasing stray shots and passes, making sure they aren't lost in the crowds. They eventually do the tidying up too, getting everything off the pitch before kick-off and assist the ground staff with any last-minute things they may need. After that, it's last call for the players. Then, at kick-off, they can breathe a sigh of relief for a few minutes, sit back and watch the game, enjoy the fruits of their labour. At half-time, check everyone's okay and everything's as it should be, and then wait for full-time. Once the final whistle's gone, it's time to pack everything down, get the stuff that needs to be washed in the laundry, pack up the van, back to the training ground, and ready to do it again next week. Of course, each club differs, and different staff members will have different responsibilities, but we pay tribute to all of those who do it, whether it's the glitz and glamour of the Premier League or a cold Tuesday night in Stoke.
Good morning, this is Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. I'm Angelina Kelly. We're building up to talkSPORT Breakfast at 6 a.m. with an all-Glaswegian duo of Alan Brazil and Super Ali McCoys. Big Al is on breakfast all week, you lucky, lucky people. On the way over the next hour, we've got all the reaction to Manchester United 0, Everton 1, David Moyes' first win at Old Trafford as an away manager in the Premier League, but it feels like one step forward and two back for United. The Champions League is back, Newcastle, Chelsea and Manchester City are all in action. talkSPORT will bring you live coverage this evening from 7 p.m. And Vinicius Jr. is apparently not willing to sign a new contract at Real Madrid. He's not happy with head coach Xabi Alonso right now. As always, you can get involved on the usual number. Call me on 03717 223344 or on the text 81089. This is the Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. So, good morning, everybody. Hope all is well. I'll be honest, I'm going to come right out of the gates with this. Manchester United fan, yes, I am. And last night, it was not pretty. Man United lost 1-0 at home to 10-man Everton. And it was live and exclusive on talkSPORT.
It's exactly 1 year to the day since Ruben Amorim took charge of Manchester United. It's a red card. Idrissa Gana Gueye fighting with his own player, I think. He was fighting with Michael Keane.
The game's gone. I don't say that lightly.
I quite like when my players have a fight. I don't want them to accept somebody not doing well enough.
Clear strike to the face of Michael Keane. That's the latest from the Premier League match centre.
We didn't play well 11 against 11. We didn't play well 11 versus 10.
Dewsbury Hall getting the wrong side of Fernandes. Gets it back onto his right foot. Shoots into the far corner and scores a terrific goal.
Well, I didn't think it had a prayer with 10 men.
Last time they won here, 2013, Roberto Martinez was the manager of Everton.
Players done a brilliant job.
It's Bruno Fernandes over the bar, 6 yards out, looking for Xerxes, whose header into the far corner is stopped by Pickford.
Be a huge setback for them, wouldn't it, this?
If you look at both teams, they were the better team today.
David Moyes has finally done it, and he's done it with 10 men.
Won a few times as manager here, but not as a visiting manager. It's been really tough.
Manchester United 0, Everton 1.
Yes, Idrissa Gueye got sent off in the first half for slapping his own teammate Michael Keane. But it didn't stop Everton as Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall scored the only goal of the game as United could not break down their defence in the second half. Here are the thoughts of Man United boss Ruben Amorim, who told talkSPORT the result and performance was a serious setback.
It's big. It's big. It's not about the result. It's about how everyone saw the game. We didn't play well 11 against 11. We didn't play well 11 versus 10. The intensity was not there compared to the last games here at Old Trafford. And when we drop a little bit the level of intensity, it's really hard for us to win the game. We try in the second half, but more with the heart and not with good decisions. So I think if you look at both teams, they were the better team today.
You know what? Ruben Amorim, he's right about it being a big setback. It feels like Manchester United have taken big steps forward, momentum has been gained, and then it's been affected maybe due to the international break, and they just cannot seem to bounce back. And, you know, not taking those chances to be competing for those European spots. Maybe it's bad luck. Maybe this is a sign that this team are good enough to be in the top half of the table, which is a massive improvement for Manchester United compared to last season. But maybe they aren't quite ready yet to be going for those European spots because they've not got what it takes to be really competing. It felt like, for me, I'll be honest, it was quite a triggering game to watch because of Joshua Zirkzee. And I don't like to be negative about him, but he's barely had any minutes. And he just isn't good enough. It was like watching a game from last season. It wasn't great. Bruno Fernandes looked off his game. For me, I think the team selection was wrong. You know, Amad Diallo and Bryan Mbeumo, they've dovetailed so nicely together. So I think to have Amad on the left-hand side in one of those number 10 positions didn't make sense. Would have preferred to have seen Mason Mount there. But even try putting Bryan Mbeumo up front, Amad on the right, Mount on the left. You know, even that could have created a little bit more because, to be completely honest, don't have a lot of faith in Joshua Zirkzee. I'm not too sure how long he will be remaining at Old Trafford, but have to give credit where credit is due. Jordan Pickford, he was absolutely excellent. Everton in general, you know, they were easily the better team, you know, but they went down to 10 men in the 13th minute when Idrissa Gueye was sent off for slapping his own teammate Michael Keane. Here's the thoughts of his manager David Moyes as speaking to talkSPORT's Sam Matterface.
Did you speak to the referee and ask him why he made that decision? The letter of the law says that unless the contact is negligible, it has to be a red card if there's contact with the hand to the face.
Well, I spoke to Anthony Taylor and he said it was because there was a hand to the face. It doesn't matter whether it's an opponent or your own player. Do you know something that I quite like when my players have a fight? You know what I mean? I'm sort of saying I want them to be tough. I don't want them to accept somebody not doing well enough. I'll need to see the action, actually, why it was. I don't know if it was Gana's pass or it was Michael Keane didn't get back in, which caused them to be angry with each other. But I don't know any successful teams where the players aren't challenging each other and demanding better out of each other. So there's another side to it from a manager's point of view. But look, it's happened. As far as I'm concerned, we've moved on. Idrissa has apologised to the whole team, to everybody in it. We get a great result tonight. We're certainly not going to let it dampen how we feel tonight.
You know what? This is going to be one of those things that is going to be debated, I feel, all day on talkSPORT. You know, David Moyes might have liked it, but for me, and I get this might split opinion, but it was a red card. You cannot go round slapping people because, you know, where do we draw the line? Even if it was weak or, you know, it's still violent conduct at the end of the day. So I'm not having it. I do think that it was a red card because, let me put it to you this way. If you slap someone in your place of work, you'd be sacked. If I walked into talkSPORT Towers and started slapping people, I would definitely be sacked. I'm glad that he's come out and apologised, and it's all smiles now. Fair enough, Idrissa Gueye's taken responsibility, and, it's all smiles because Everton won. But you can't have any complaints about the red card. Imagine if they'd lost. There would be a lot of fingers pointing at him, and I doubt David Moyes would have been so laid back about it, put it that way. But Manchester United fans definitely had some complaints, but the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy certainly isn't the place to go for sympathy, as Michael the Red Devil found out.
No, it was like, where's the engine? I ain't going up.
What happened, Mike?
Well, where was the engine tonight? Where was the... when Bruno Fernandes tonight, his crossing, passing was an absolute joke. And then just him, it's like Xerxes, he wasn't no good. It's just the whole, last 5 weeks, we played all right, you know what I mean? We done quite well. But we are better than Spurs.
Oh, I feel so sorry. So sorry for Michael there. When those violins start, you just know that the sports bar have got you. But, I understand some of the points that he's making. And I think you look at the Africa Cup of Nations coming up. Manchester United are going to be without somebody like Amad Diallo, without somebody like Brian Mbeumo. They're really going to miss them. And people might have criticised Manchester United for buying Cunha and Mbeumo. Oh, you've spent all that money up front. You need a midfielder, you need a goalkeeper, etc. But, we are missing somebody like Cunha. Even Šeško, I think, would have done better up front than Joshua Zirkzee, because, like I say, he's not had any minutes. But I am actually recording talkSPORT's Manchester United YouTube show Inside Devils later today with Flex, Ryan Scott-Douglas and our chief football correspondent Alex Crook. And I can tell you right now, Crookie is throwing his toys out of his pram. He wants Ruben Amorim gone. Now, we go on a bit of a roller coaster with Alex Crook. 1 minute he loves him and he's apologising. The next minute he's not happy. I'm not sure about it, though. This whole Ruben Amorim needs to go, because a few weeks ago, let's be honest, it was all rosy. After 3 wins in a row, this result is a big step backwards, definitely. But really, let's be honest, who are Manchester United going to replace Ruben Amorim with? It's not like there's loads of obvious candidates who definitely fit the bill. And I just think you've gone this far, you might as well give the man time, especially at least the end of this season. But what do you think? Give me a call on 03717 223344 and tell me whether you think Ruben Amorim deserves more time at Manchester United or not. Ring that number and you'll be next live here on talkSPORT. One thing that I've not mentioned yet, though, Everton, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, that goal was fantastic. It pains me. It's at Old Trafford, under the lights. It was brilliant, though. And the fact that it was, the goal to win the game after that red card, that team could have completely down tools, capitulated, but they really did band together. They were absolutely excellent. Adrian Durham and Danny Murphy praised Dewsbury Hall's performance after the game.
Well, all I can say is going to be an Everton player, Danny Murphy, so which one?
I'm going to go Dewsbury Hall, just. And Jai was terrific, first half especially. Grealish was terrific, defence, so many good. There wasn't a bad performance, let's be honest. Even the forwards, Barry and Beto come on, putting himself about. But Dewsbury Hall, overall, the goal, skill in midfield, defensive work, fitness, everything about him, he looked brilliant tonight. It was a really impressive display, and hopefully those Everton fans appreciate it.
Yeah, a quick one on Jordan Pickford. I think a lot of people will pick him as man of the match, and I thought he did make some really good saves. The fingertip one to his right.
He only made one that you'd expect that maybe you don't expect him to.
But I think if you pick him as man of the match, it does a disservice to what the rest of the team did.
No, he'd tell you that himself. Pickford's made a couple of saves from long-range efforts, which you'd expect him to save. He's made one over the
Xerxes header to the right.
That's the best one.
Yeah, that was
and
a great
that's the
save.
only save, really. If he didn't save it, you probably wouldn't pick fault. And I always look at that when I look at goalkeeper performance. If you're going to give a goalkeeper a man of the match, he's got to make 2 or 3 saves at least that you don't expect him to save. And I'm sure Pickford will be happy to pass the man of the match to someone else. There was so much good in that performance for a manager to know that the rest of the season you've got that group of players on your side.
Now, Thomas Tuchel, he was at Old Trafford last night, and you have to think, Could Dewsbury Hall be an outsider for the World Cup? I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. You never know. Meanwhile, the live football continues tonight and throughout the week on talkSPORT. It's on to the Champions League as Newcastle head to Marseille this evening. We've got commentary of that, plus updates of Chelsea versus Barcelona and Man City versus Bayer Leverkusen. And on Wednesday, we bring you Premier League leaders Arsenal versus Bayern Munich, who have won 10 out of 11 games so far in the Bundesliga. And over on talkSPORT 2 on Wednesday, it's Liverpool against PSV. Arne Slot's team really need a win after that 3-0 loss at home to Nottingham Forest at the weekend. This is Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT with me, Angelina Kelly. Up next, we'll take a look at the back pages. We'll be talking about Vinicius Jr.'s future, and we'll be taking your calls on Manchester United. 03717 223344. Good morning, I'm Angelina Kelly and this is Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Thanks for your company this Tuesday morning. Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist will be here for talkSPORT Breakfast from 6 a.m. Alan is here all week, remember. Some of your headlines this Tuesday morning. Graham Thorpe would still be alive if the England and Wales Cricket Board had done more after his sacking, his widow has claimed. Thorpe, who played 100 tests for England, took his own life in August 2024, 2.5 years after losing his England assistant coaching role. talkSPORT's Will Hobbs has been investigating and will bring you more on this very sad story on The Breakfast Show in around an hour. Now, Swansea City have appointed Vita Matos as their head coach on a 4-year contract. The Swans turned to Matos after missing out on Kim Hellberg, who yesterday completed his move to Middlesbrough. And Pep Guardiola has apologised for his confrontation with a TV cameraman following Saturday's 2-1 loss at Newcastle. Pep marched onto the pitch at the end, speaking with referee Sam Barrett, while he also pulled the headphones off a cameraman to say something in his ear. This is what he had to say for himself, speaking ahead of tonight's Champions League game at home to Bayer Leverkusen.
I feel embarrassed, ashamed when I see it. I don't like it. I apologise for the camera after 1 second. So
that's what I'm asking. Do you even need to? Because it just happens, doesn't these things?
I am who I am. Even 1,000 games, I'm not a perfect person. I make a huge mistake. So it's not about that, but I don't regret. What is for sure, I defend my team and my club. That's for sure. The reason why is I want to defend my team and my club. That is no doubt. Because from my experience to win the Premier League, I have to do 100 points and 98 points. Otherwise, we don't win. That's for sure.
I mean, let's get the world's smallest violin out for Pep Guardiola, hey? I'm sorry, but that kind of behaviour, not okay. I think it sets a bad example to young fans watching and just to fans in general. And also, how can he hold his players to account for their discipline on and off the pitch when he's behaving like that? He mentions having the experience of managing over 1,000 games. Pep, you should have the experience to know better than to do that to a person who is literally just there trying to do their job. I'm sorry, not acceptable. I'm not having it. I'm not having that apology, Pep. And for more on all of the day's biggest stories, head over to talksport.com. But it's time now to get into the back pages, and I'm delighted to say that talkSPORT newsreader and journalist Tom Clayton is with me in the studio. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. How are we?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Interesting from Pep, isn't it? I just think when you listen to what he says and the way he goes about things, it almost feels a bit... I mean, I know he's been in the job for a long time.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like, are we starting to see the gradual decline of what's going on there?
I'm here for it. I like that.
Because I think he's going a little bit mad with what happened with Liverpool last season, what's happening with Arsenal this season. He's kind of had to go into mad scientist mode, and I don't think the world is quite ready for that yet.
No, I don't think I'm definitely not ready for that.
No, I don't think many people are, so yeah.
No. What's going on in the back pages then?
So, understandably, lots of the... and
it's got to be Slapgate, hasn't it?
It's got to be Slapgate. I mean, the Express has gone with Slappy Mondays.
Yeah.
The Start, Slap and Pickle. Very nice, very nice line. The Sun, Idrissa hit Pal in the Kisser.
Oh.
It was mental, wasn't it?
It was absolutely bizarre. I didn't know what I was watching.
I normally don't watch the Monday Night Football. If I'm doing an early shift on Tuesday morning, I normally watch the highlights the morning after. But I thought to myself, I'll just stay up and I'll just watch the first half and see how it goes. And it was an absolutely bonkers first half. And, you know, for Seamus Coleman to go off after 10 minutes and then this whole situation, which seemed to be sparked out of completely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I've watched the replays over and over again, and it just gets so heated so quickly, and it's just, there's no need.
There's no need. And what's interesting is, actually speaking to a lot of the staff who are in the office this morning, no one really thinks it was a red card.
I'm on my own here. I am just on my own flying the red card flag. For me, it's just... If you're making contact, even if it is soft, it's still contact, and that is not acceptable, because then it becomes a thing of, oh, where do you draw the line? And I understand that people are saying, you know, the referee could have done something. It was only the 13th minute, could have tried to have just calmed the game down, but his behaviour as soon as he gets the red card, it just gets progressively worse.
The fact that he basically had to be dragged into the dressing rooms by Jordan Pickford.
Strength on Jordan Pickford, by the way. I mean, he looks like a strong guy anyway, but he just manhandled him right towards that tunnel.
He said, you are not doing anything. I'm going to literally almost pick you up
Yeah.
and carry you in.
Imagine that would have been great if he'd have picked him up.
Oh, imagine as well. Imagine being in the Stretford end watching that happen. You'd be thinking, what on earth
You know
is
what?
going on?
I've got a few friends and family that I've not spoken to yet, but I will be sending a few messages to today to get the lowdown on what was going on. Our own Flex, I know that he was at the game.
Yeah.
I'll get his take as well, definitely.
Yeah, excellent coverage on talkSPORT, by the way. I'll listen back to some of the highlights this morning. Wow.
Yes.
They covered it really well.
Yeah.
Interesting to hear what Adrian and Danny had to say on the coverage as well.
Yes.
In terms of what else is going on, of course, you mentioned about the investigation into what's happened with mental health in cricket. Amanda Thorpe levelling those accusations at the England-Wales Cricket Board. Of course, we'll hear from Will Hobbs later on this morning, who's got the full details. He's got everything that needs to be known, but it is in the back of the Sun. It's in the Times as well. It's on the front page of the Times website, actually. So this has been really picked up, and it's going to be interesting to see how that one develops. The podcast, I've been told, is really, really, really good listen as well. So looking forward to hearing that. Sticking with cricket and slightly less serious topics this time. So Jimmy Anderson has been writing in the Daily Mail. It's on page 66. He's written an exclusive column where he said England must forget Perth and stick with the same team for the second Ashes test.
Okay.
He says, if I were in the England dressing room, I'd be saying, I love the intent, but questioning the execution. Are you trying to play the right shots as batters? And to that sort of ball, are you looking to score in the right area? So basically, it's kind of a bit more of a self-reflective piece. It's saying, right, okay, you've gone out there, you've made a complete pig's ear of a winning position in the Ashes. Go out and prove us wrong in the second test.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe.
I think there has to be a reaction of sorts.
There has to be, yeah.
Yeah, I think whether that comes from Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum themselves, or whether that comes from the play. I mean, the players have to step up. They can't play like that for the rest of the Ashes tour, because they will get picked off and they'll get thrashed 5-0, which. No, I mean, unless you're Australian, no one really wants to see that. We want to see a competitive, 100% Ashes. So yeah, an interesting one there. This one on the inside of the back page of The Guardian. Thomas Frank needs to spark signs of progress from a stalled Spurs. This is David Hinter. He's written a column saying it's not Frank's fault that he inherited a squad that had won 2, drawn 3 and lost 9 of the previous 14 home league games under Ange Postecoglou. It is on him that he's failed to drive any discernible improvement whatsoever.
I mean, I'll be honest, I do look at it, and I know not everything is perfect with Ruben Amorim, but I do look at it, and I think I'm glad that Thomas Frank didn't get the job in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's garage or wherever it was that he had that interview. But I do think you've got to give him time. I mean, we say that all the time, don't we? You've got to give them time. But as much as, you know, Spurs did get that Europa League trophy, they beat Man United in the final. It wasn't a good season, and you're coming in with a manager who plays completely differently. You have got to give it time, and I do think that fans need to, unfortunately, maybe just humble themselves a little bit and just take a step back and think we have to give him a minute.
The thing is, we're in a world where you get managers like Arne Slot who come into Liverpool and win the title at their first time of asking. What fans need to do, and Spurs, unfortunately, they need to look across to Arsenal, because they gave Mikel Arteta time. He was finishing 8th in his first season, his first full season. So he didn't exactly have, you know, it was the whole trust the process thing. And people were going mad for it and saying, what on earth is this? And now they've finished second 2-3 seasons in a row. They've been perennial title contenders. It looks like there won't be any stopping them to win the title this season. Trust the process. I'm sorry, Spurs fans, but you've got to take your time.
I completely agree. And for me, you know, Arsenal are the lesser of the 3 evils of, you know, who could be winning the Premier League. Liverpool and Manchester City, you know, geographically too close to Manchester for me, and also, you know, have won it so recently. Arsenal, give them one. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind that. So yeah, I think you're right. Definitely trust the process. But thank you very much for that, Tom. I'm Angelina Kelly, and this is Early Sports Breakfast. Up next, we will be paying tribute to the late, great George Best, 20 years to the day since his untimely passing.
When you think about famous F1 circuits, the likes of Silverstone, Monza, Monaco come to mind. One of these is not like the others though. Monaco is just one of a number of street circuits on the calendar, and that number's only set to rise. There's a clear difference between a traditional circuit and a street circuit. One is a purpose-built facility on private land, the other is, as it sounds, a race through the streets of a major city. Monaco is the famous example, twisting and turning through the streets of the Principality with iconic backgrounds and, let's be honest, not a lot of overtaking. But from 2026, there'll be a record 10 street circuits on the calendar. It proves that cash remains king. Each track promoter gives F1 between $20 and $60 million just for the rights to host an F1 race. And when Saudi Arabia pays upwards of $100 million, you can see why it's an attractive prospect for the sport. But is it all positive? Well, the drivers aren't that bothered. If you ask a majority of them, they'll tell you historic circuits at Silverstone, Spa, Monza, Zandvoort, they're the favourites. For the sports organisers, though, it kind of makes sense. In 2025, Monaco had a record 2.3 million strong viewership in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So while these races may not be rip-roaring, all-out action, thrill rides we want as race fans, people are tuning in even more, and bosses can demand even more cash.
Good morning, I'm Angelina Kelly. We're building up to breakfast this morning from 6 a.m. with Alan Brazil and Super Ali McCoist. Some of your headlines this Tuesday morning: David Moyes finally won a league game as an away manager at Old Trafford, courtesy of a brilliant Kiernan Dewsbury Hall goal. Everton's 1-0 victory coming in spite of Idrissa Gueye's early red card for slapping teammate Michael Keane. talkSPORT understands Celtic are closing in on making Wilfried Nancy their new manager. Interim boss and talkSPORT's Martin O'Neill is expected to remain in charge at least for Thursday's Europa League trip to Feyenoord, while a deal for Columbus crew boss Nancy is finalised. And the spotlight remains well and truly on Liverpool's remarkable collapse of form. 6 league defeats in 7 for the champions, whose next outing is at home to PSV in the Champions League tomorrow. Legendary Reds midfielder Graham Souness was a special guest on White and Jordan yesterday and went into detail as to why he's questioning captain Virgil van Dijk's leadership.
I'm not there on a daily basis with him. I saw something, I'll say this, controversial or not. I've seen something in him before he became captain that I didn't think big players did on a football pitch. That's my opinion.
What? Specifically what?
I'll tell you, all right, I'll go out on a limb then. You know, I find it hard to when I get angry. And right, I'm playing with Alan Hansen. Martin will like this. And I'd go and show for the ball off Alan Hansen, a simple pass. And he'd never give it to me. And I'd have a go at him afterwards. I said, will you just pass the effing ball to me? He said, why? I said, because I can play, but I'm better than you. I pass the ball better than you. So why should I pass it to you? And when Jordan Henderson was in the team, Jordan Henderson developed like all midfield players seem to do today. They go into the back four and take a 10-yard pass and pass it 10 yards to the right back. I saw Virgil van Dijk do that every single game on multiple occasions. And that's telling me big players would say, get to. I can pass it 20 yards to the right back. I can ping it 30, which he started to do when he became captain. But why do you need an armband before you went down that road?
Now, as much as Virgil van Dijk has been brilliantly successful as a leader for Liverpool, I'll be honest, I do think he gets a little bit of a free pass at times for the way that he behaves on the pitch, because he is always throwing his arms about. He's always moaning at his teammates. He's always got something to say. He's always moaning at referees. And he has nowhere near the reputation of someone like Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United, for example, who gets criticised so much. He's constantly called petulant. You don't get that with Van Dijk. And I must say, though, his behaviour isn't the reason that Liverpool are losing so many games right now, but I just don't know if it's helping. But there is plenty more to come from Graham Souness on Liverpool's problems, Arsenal's title credentials, and much more on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. Now, one of our top stories today here on Early Sports Breakfast is the future of Brazilian superstar Vinicius Jr. So, according to The Athletic, he has told Real Madrid that he doesn't want to renew his contract, which expires in June 2027, while his relationship with head coach Xabi Alonso remains so strained. Now, we did see an element of this when the Brazilian reacted really angrily when he was subbed in the 72nd minute of Real Madrid's 2-1 win over Barcelona in El Clasico. Now, some people are suggesting that maybe this is a ploy to negotiate a better contract, but sources are saying that this just comes down to him feeling like a contract extension and staying at Madrid isn't in his best interests. Now, when I think about Vinicius Jr., he's been at the club 7 years, joined when he was 18 years of age. He is an important player. He scored in 2 Champions League finals that they won, came second in the Ballon d'Or. He's the star of Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil team, and this is a World Cup year. He needs to be at his best, and he needs minutes. So you can understand why he's frustrated, because Vinny's only completed just 5 of Madrid's 17 games in all competitions this season. So, yeah, he needs the game time. And Alonso is using this excuse of rotation, but I'm not buying it, because no player of such a high profile is being rotated at Real Madrid or around the world. You know, Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Bukayo Saka, Harry Kane, even Mo Salah, which some people might say that he should be rotated, you know. But I just think the issue isn't the club. But if you have a manager who clearly doesn't back you, you're 25 years of age, you're in your prime, why wouldn't you look elsewhere? Because you've got to make things happen for yourself, especially if he wants, you know, personal accolades like the Ballon d'Or. But, you know, if Vinicius Jr. is on the move this summer, or even in January, who knows, that's surely a great opportunity for someone. So, I tell you what, I'm going to give you the chance to call up and make your case for why Vinicius Jr. should join your club. However big or small your team is, give me a call and tell the nation why he should leave Real Madrid for your club. 03717 223344. And for more on all of these stories, visit talksport.com. Now, today marks 20 years since the passing of one of football's true greats and most colourful characters. On the 25th of November 2005, we lost the Manchester United and Northern Ireland legend George Best at the age of 59. Today's TalkSPORT Daily podcast is a special show dedicated to the late great George, featuring Jeff Stelling and the former Liverpool defender Phil Thompson, who worked alongside him on the Sky Sports Soccer Saturday panel. Here's Jeff reflecting on the brilliance, charisma and complexity of one of the game's greatest players.
When I do some of the theatre shows, Tomo, a lot of the people are too young to remember George in the flesh. And I try and explain to them, I said, if you look at Ronaldo and Messi in their peak now, and maybe years gone by, someone like Johan Cruyff, well, at his pinnacle, George, for me, was right up there. He was bang in that sort of company. And you think, I know what people will say. People will say, oh, well, he couldn't play in this day and age because the players are fitter, the players are faster. But when George played, you look at the conditions that he played in. You look at the medicine ball that they had to kick, you know. So there were lots of disadvantages. I think he could have played the game in any era.
Jeff Stelling there. Now, let's hear from Phil speaking about how honoured he was to make his Liverpool debut against Man United, and none other than George Best himself.
Bill Shankly says to me, Tomo, son, get your kit off, you're going on. I was thinking, no, I don't want to go on. Mind you, we're winning at this time, 2-0 as well. And I'm thinking, oh my God, George Best, Bobby Charlton, I'm 18 years of age. It's packed at Old Trafford. And I've got to go on the pitch. So he says, son, he says, I want you to go on, toss coming off. You play just behind Kevin. We're 2-0 up. I'd like a number 10 role. So I've gone, right, goes on, right in the centre circle, right in the centre spot. Who got the ball? Came towards me, but only George. And I was a clever player, very clever player. And I opened my legs offering him to nutmeg me. And as he took that opportunity, I shook my legs. The ball rebounded off my shins and off I went with the ball. But that was my first touch. So it was George Best who done that. But many years later, Jeff, Soccer Saturday, nights out, did I remind George once? I reminded him hundreds of times and he'd go, Tomo, shut the... Oh my God. But it was wonderful. How does that, a young kid, and you are on the same picture as three legends of the game?
Amazing there to hear, you know, from both of them on George Best and those memories from Phil Thompson. I think for me, obviously, I wasn't alive to witness him on the pitch, but he's forever there for Manchester United. You know, you've got the United Trinity statue alongside Sir Bobby Charlton and Dennis Law. And I think it's such an iconic thing for Manchester United fans. You first visit to Old Trafford, you go and see that statue. But I just think George Best, he was like a celebrity. He wasn't just a footballer. He was almost like a pop star in some ways of, you know, the level of fame that he had. And I guess he paved the way for a lot of people like your Sir David Beckhams and your Cristiano Ronaldos, etc. And I always remember my nan, who was old enough to, of course, watch George Best, going on holiday to Portugal, and people found out that, you know, their group was from Manchester, and they immediately started talking about George Best. And in Portuguese press, they called him El Beatle because they said he looked like an extra member of the Beatles. And, you know, that was just the way that wherever you went, he was always remembered. And I think the fact that it took about 20 years for a Man United player to surpass 20 league goals in one season since George Best, it was Brian McClare that did that. You know, such an amount of time that passed. It just shows what a special player that he was. But yes, 20 years on from the passing of football icon George Best, his former colleagues Jeff Stelling and Phil Thompson bring you a very special episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast. That is available now, reflecting on the brilliance, charisma, complexity of one of the game's greatest players. And if you want to hear more, then the talkSPORT Daily is available on all podcast platforms now. It is a busy day of football here on talkSPORT. A reminder, there's a huge game in the Championship tonight. Middlesbrough versus Coventry, second versus first, live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2. Cov will go 10 points clear at the top with a win. They've won 9 out of their last 10. Borough yesterday confirmed the appointment of Kim Hellberg as their new coach. The 37-year-old had been in charge of Swedish side Hammarby and gets straight to work in the midst of a promotion charge. Mark Wilson and former Scotland striker Chris Iwelumo are your commentary team for that one. This is Early Sports Breakfast with me, Angelina Kelly. Up next, we'll preview tonight's Champions League action, including the glamour clash between Chelsea and Barcelona.
Las Vegas, baby, on talkSPORT.
Good morning, I'm Angelina Kelly. This is Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. We're building up to breakfast at 6 a.m. with Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist. But first, as 2025 comes to a close, talkSPORT and Virgin Hotels Las Vegas want to send you into 2026 the right way, with your chance to win an epic trip to Vegas. You and your best mate could be flying upper class from London to Vegas, checking into a luxury spa villa for 4 incredible nights at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas, cheering from the stands as the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And to top it all off, you'll get £5,000 in cash to play with. So clear your calendar from January the 2nd to January the 7th, 2026, because nothing starts a new year like Vegas. Make sure you enter, and here's how.
21 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text at £2 plus standard network rate. Bill payer's permission required. Or call 03434239761. Calls are charged at standard rate. All entries must be received by the 28th of November at 4 p.m. This is a network promotion. Run across talkSPORT, Virgin Radio UK and Talk. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Right, coming up this evening, there's loads of Champions League action live on talkSPORT.
It is the competition that all the big guns want to win. The pinnacle of European football.
Bye-bye! Barcelona! Blue is the colour! Chelsea 4, Barcelona 2.
We are better team compared to the day we played Bayern away.
It comes to Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea score a second.
Aubameyang inside the area, turns and equalises. Brilliant finish from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Marseille really need to win this.
It's under his left foot, stands up the cross, Joelinton!
No ball into the box. Here's Haaland! It's another record, another goal.
Massively important game.
Bounces for Schick, who shoots from the halfway line. Oh my word! What a goal from Patrick Schick! Champions League football is back.
3 English sides are in Champions League action tonight. Marseille versus Newcastle, that's live on talkSPORT. The Magpies have won 3 and lost 1 so far, sitting 6th in the Champions League table. Manchester City will look to bounce back from their defeat to Newcastle on Saturday as they host Bayer Leverkusen. And the game of the night, Chelsea versus Barcelona. Adrian Durham will host kickoff live from Stamford Bridge this evening at 7 p.m. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca, he used to be one of Pep Guardiola's assistants at Manchester City, and he says Pep's Barcelona side were a big influence on his coaching style.
I still consider, again, I decided to be a manager because of a Pep team, Barcelona, years ago. Now, if clubs or teams decide with different style, I said many times that any club, any team can decide in the way they want to play. I chose the mine years ago, and this will be the way I like to watch my team playing football, and also in the future.
Yeah, it's nice that Enzo Maresca thinks that his team plays like Pep's Barcelona, but do you really watch Chelsea and think that they play like that? I'm not sure if they play the same, with the attacking intent or aggression. And obviously, let's be honest, player for player, they're nowhere near the Barcelona team with Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, etc. Now, Cole Palmer still isn't fit for Chelsea. He's still out injured after he stubbed his toe last week. He'll miss tonight's game and the visit of Premier League leaders Arsenal on Sunday. So it's a big week for the Blues, and left-back Marc Cucurella says it's a great chance to make a statement.
I think we have a good opportunity. We need to know that, it's 2 big games, but it's nothing more than 3 points. I think if we win this game, for sure you have more confidence and all the people start to speak about you, but we don't need to forget that we are in November, we have a long run ahead, so we need to continue in this moment. I think 2-3 weeks ago when we lose against Brighton at home, and then I think United, all the people said that Chelsea is very young and we are not ready, and now we play good games and we came in a good moment, and the people start to say that maybe we can fight for a trophies and for the Champions League.
And don't forget that Marseille against Newcastle will be live on talkSPORT this evening. Arsenal against Bayern Munich will be live tomorrow night on talkSPORT, while Liverpool against PSV is over on talkSPORT 2. Now, don't forget there's loads more coming up on talkSPORT Breakfast today. Joining Alan Brazil and Ali McCoy this morning, three-time Six Nations winner and Traitors finalist Joe Marler is with the boys after becoming a mainstream telly star. Chelsea legend Gianfranco Zola is also on the show ahead of tonight's glamour tie between Chelsea and Barcelona. They'll ask John O'Shea whether Ruben Amorim is to blame for last night's defeat at home against Everton, and the Sheffield United manager Chris Wilder is live on the show as well, following Sunday's 3-0 Steel City derby victory. You've been listening to Early Sports Breakfast with me, Angelina Kelly. Alan and Ali are on the way next.